witnesses is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank the witnesses for appearing as well. And I will apologize if I should say something or ask a question that offends, but I tend to deal with the sensitive issues. And today, having been a litigator, I find it necessary to utilize a technique that we employ when selecting a petit jury from among those who are in a venire. It's a process called voir dire or voir dire, depending on where you're from. In Texas, we say voir dire. It's a French term that means to speak the truth. So let's proceed with this process of raising hands. Let's start with this, and I regret that we've lost a member of the panel, to be quite candid. He's back, very good. We talk a lot about diversity and inclusion and how this will be a part of this new era of technology that will make millionaires and billionaires. And I'd like to ask you a few questions about diversity and inclusion. Does it include both males and females, diversity and inclusion? If you think so, raise a hand so that I don't have to ask each one of you. If you think it includes males and females. All right, let the record reflect that all hands were raised. That would be 2, 4, 6 hands up. Do you define yourself as a female? If so, kindly extend a hand into the air. Let the record reflect that none of the witnesses would be defined as a female. Do you know any females who would be capable, competent, and qualified to sit on this panel? One hand's up already, there. They all know females who would be capable, competent, and qualified to sit on this panel. Would they bring something to this debate that would be not only of interest, but that would be beneficial to what we're trying to accomplish? Hands up, all agree. Now, does diversity and inclusion include people of color? Raise your hand if you think so. Let the record reflect that they all think so. And do you know any people of color who would be capable, competent, and qualified to sit on this panel? Hands up, please. A nodding of head won't do. All hands have been raised. Let the record reflect such. I'm asking these questions because, unfortunately, we tend to see diversity and inclusion at the end of a process. I think it starts right here today with you. But I don't have time to go on with this. Let's go to another area that's exceedingly important. It's been said that whether the SEC or CFTC is empowered to do this, that there will be a need for additional tools. That's what's been said by Mr. Santori. Let's talk about additional funding. I think, Mr. Massad, you've said as much. Additional funding. It appears to me that my colleagues would propose cuts to align with the 2024 FYI 2024 with the 2022 FYI levels. And in so doing, this would impose a $91 million cut, or about 22%. Mr. Massad, would such a cut hurt the CFTC and its functionality?
Absolutely.
Would it hurt the SEC if it is cut?
Absolutely.
Do you think that there will have to be an increase, regardless as to how this is done, there will have to be some increase in funding?
Yes, if you're going to increase an agency's duties and responsibilities, you need to give it additional resources to do that.
All right, I have 18 seconds left. If you agree with Mr. Massad, would you raise your hand, please? So, Mr. Santori, you don't think that there would have to be an additional funding?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, but that's my question. Do you think that there would have to be additional funding?
I think it would depend on the jurisdiction that ultimately was granted to the SEC and the CFTC. There could very well be areas where that jurisdiction ought to be changed.
All right, I'm sorry I can't pursue this more, but thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman yields. Mr. Sherman of California is